What's up, college football fans, quarterback fans? Welcome to another QB Spotlight video. And today we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. What does he need to do against TCU's defense to have success, right? Our game previews are a little bit different than other game previews. We just focus on the quarterback position. And today we're talking about Shedeur Sanders and the Colorado offense and how he can lead them to success against TCU's defense. And if this is your first time tuning into the QB Spotlight channel, thank you for tuning in. We talk all things quarterbacks. Throughout the week, we'll have quarterback guest on for our podcast, but during the season, we have these game previews where we just recap and preview the quarterback plays of last week and the quarterback games coming up. So with that said, let's talk Shedeur Sanders. And before we talk about what he needs to do, I think it's important to talk about the TCU defense, what you can expect from the TCU defense. What's the TCU's defense's strengths, or at least what do we think their strengths are as we head into the 2023 season? If you look back to 2022, the defense did give up 30 points, I think, in 7 of their games last year, right, which was about half their games that they were giving up 30 points. But the defense did play really good at times as well, right? And it got better throughout the season. In game 1 or week 1 when they played Colorado, they did give up 235 yards passing to Colorado's quarterbacks, which was Colorado's, I think, 3rd highest output of the season in throwing yards. Brendan Lewis, the quarterback who split snaps that game, did have 42 yards rushing as well and led the team rushing in that game. So that does tell us maybe a few things. By the end of the day, TCU's defense has gotten much better since then. So let's talk about their defense, right? Their defense doesn't lose nearly as much as the offense does. The defense production returns a lot more than the offensive production, specifically the defensive back unit. The defensive backs could be the best or one of the best defensive backs units in the whole Big 12. Phil Steele, the Phil Steele magazine, right, the legend himself, has them ranked as the 13th best defensive back unit in the nation. So that tells us that their defensive backs are probably going to be pretty good this year, right? Or at least they're estimated to be pretty good. And this year, their defense could be better than their offense was. And last year, of course, offensively, they were better than they were on the defense, right? So that could be swapped this year, right? Again, just good to know what you're going up against for our TCU defense, right? Really good DBs that are probably going to be able to at least most likely prevent some big plays. So if you're the Colorado offense, if you're Shedeur Sanders, how do you go about attacking this? How do you go about game planning for this? Well, of course, he's not going to watch this YouTube video. We only have a couple thousand subscribers, right? Maybe we'll have more after the video. But take all what I say with a grain of salt. These are just my opinions. This is kind of what I think and maybe what I would do to attack this defense, right? One, if you're Shedeur Sanders, it comes without say, but you don't want to force anything, right? I think it's going to be easy to want to have a huge play right off the bat. That'd be great. Maybe they do, but you don't want to force anything. There's a difference between having a big play and forcing something. I think in the offense that Sean Lewis has, there's going to be multiple answers for what TCU's defense is throwing their way, right? Now it's up to them to find the answers, but there's going to be multiple answers when you're in Sean Lewis's offense, right? You don't have to force something. Now that may take a few series to get going, right? That may take a few series to find what the answer is against certain defenses, against certain looks, but I think it comes down to just don't force anything off the bat. Trust the answers to come, and then hopefully, if the answers do come, you're able to hit on those answers, right? Whether it's running the ball, whether it's pulling the ball, whether it's a quick pass, deep pass, whatever it may be. You don't want to force anything. Number 2, this is kind of an oxymoron, I think, but you want to get the ball out quickly underneath. But at the same time, I think you want to take a shot or two deep, right? And I'll explain in a second. But number 2, get the ball quick underneath. You don't want TCU's defense just stacking against the run game, or TCU's defense, necessarily defending in certain other ways, right? You want to get the ball quick underneath. You want Shedeur Sanders to get comfortable. But at the exact same time, I think early in the game, I think you want to take a safe shot deep. I always like doing this if I'm a quarterback, regardless, what defense you're playing against, but especially against TCU's defense that has really good secondary. That's the strength of their team. I think you want to take a shot deep, a one-on-one matchup, a conservative go ball, whether they complete it or not, who cares? You just want TCU's defense, and specifically the secondary, to know they have to defend against the deep ball, right? So you get the ball out quick. That keeps maybe TCU's defense creeps up a little bit when you're getting the ball out quick, especially in this Sean Lewis's offense with a lot of RPOs, and you have the ability to throw these quick short throws. But then you also want to take a shot deep. Then you have, if you're TCU secondary, in your mind, you're thinking, okay, we got to defend these short, quick passes. They're not afraid to take a shot deep. Even though they didn't complete it, you still have to defend it, right? And if you complete it, that's a whole different ballgame, right? So again, get the ball out quick, but also take a shot deep or two early in the game. So TCU's defense has to be aware of that. Number 3, I think get Shedeur Sanders involved in the run game early. Like we mentioned last week. not last week, like we mentioned earlier in the video, last year TCU, or Brendan Lewis for Colorado, had 42 yards on the ground, which isn't a ton, right? But he split snaps with the whoever started last year at Colorado. I think it was JT, right? He split snaps with him in game 1, and he was still able to lead the team in rushing. So I think there may be something there rushing for Shedeur Sanders, especially with Sean Lewis's offense. But what that does, it's another element that TCU's defense has to defend, right? So put yourself in TCU's secondary position, or if you're one of their DBs, and you see that, okay, Sanders has ran the ball a few times on these RPOs. Sanders has thrown some quick passes underneath real quick. Sanders has thrown some deep shots early in the game. This is all, let's say midway through the first half, right? They've done all these different type of plays that you have to be aware of. You have to defend of, right? So I think all that can open up some good, successful deep balls. All that can open up maybe defensive backs being put out of position. That's all you're trying to do if you're Sanders and Sean Lewis. You're trying to get the best unit on the field, TCU's defensive backs, out of position. And you have multiple answers to do that. It's just finding those answers and then executing, right? So it comes down to, number one, don't force anything if you're Sanders. Even if it takes a few plays to find the answers, or a few series to find the answers, that's okay. Number two, you want to have quick shots. You want to have quick underneath throws, but I think it's also important to take a shot or two deep downfield, right? Then number three, if you're Sanders, get involved in the run game some. Make them kind of have to just be aware and know, okay, man, we have to defend him running too, right? That's 3 or 4 different scenarios that's going to open up the offense and just have and force TCU's defensive backs to defend multiple things being thrown at them, right? So again, those are my thoughts, or those are just what I think Sanders needs to do to have success against TCU's defense. And there's other stuff, of course, you can dive into the weeds a bit more, but I think it's kind of broad, right? I think it's kind of simple, right? Don't force anything. Quick underneath throws, but also take a shot deep, or 1 or 2 deep shots, and then get involved in the run game early as well. Give TCU's defense a lot to have to defend, right? I think that could lead to some success. That could lead to some open guys down the field, and this could lead to, Colorado and Sanders being in a good position when the fourth quarter rolls around. But Colorado fans, or just TCU fans, whoever's watching this video, college football fans, what do you think Sanders needs to do against TCU's defense? Let us know in the comments below. And again, if you like this type of quarterback content, please like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It really does help. And we're going to keep putting out these quarterback previews. Again, game previews, yes, but more just quarterback previews throughout the weeks and throughout the season. We'll probably be doing more Colorado videos as well. So again, like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. We'll see you next time. Peace.